first day of the very first class I ever took. A couple years later, I submitted for the Loft Mentor Prize, and I was lucky enough to get in with these people here. And I'm just so grateful that you guys came. Stephen, Maureen, Kristen, welcome. Pam! Pam! Thank you, Pam. So it was like 12 years of writing this book on and off, really on and off. And then the last burst was like 2 years of intense writing. And in order to do that, I wouldn't have been able to do it without the Friday morning writing group. And they're the ones with the matching t-shirts and the babies. They listened to this book. I read it out loud to them chapter by chapter, month by month. Hi, Jack. And it wouldn't have been this book without you guys. You are all amazing writers. And all of you writers are part of it. And so are you, book club. I have 3 book clubs represented here. Okay, you guys are the oldest. Okay. The original. We've been together 30 years, and reading, analyzing, discussing, disagreeing about books, having very sophisticated process for selecting books, and for disciplining members who don't come to the meetings. My book club. You are part of this, because writing is really is reading. So I tried to write a book that was the kind of book I wanted to read because of what you guys taught me about reading. And then there's my Mount Holyoke Book Club representative, Melinda. One gal, my Mount Holyoke College alumni book club has welcomed me in, and thank you so much for coming. And now the next group is kind of rowdy, so I'm a little hesitant. It's the Mother-Son Book Club. So thanks for coming. These lovely ladies, we all had sons in the Park Spanish Immersion School together, and it was a wonderful idea to bring our sons together and read books as mothers and sons. And so we did that for as long as our boys were young and would put up with it. And then they stopped putting up with it. Thank you for being here.
But we persisted.
I'm not going to go through everyone, but there's people here from Schaefer Halleen, our law firm, who tolerated me taking time off from work. There's Dave and Laurel. Dave was a role model to me in a lawyer can be a writer. Thank you for coming. My improv troupe, Amy representing my improv troupe. My massage therapist is here. That's important. Okay. And Carolyn Zucker and Lona, we were Fun with Law for many years, and it's so great to get the team together again. And then, of course, all my family and friends. Andrea came from Milwaukee.
Yeah.
And I see all you family peeking through the cupboards, and thank you for being here. Well, all right, that was fun. So I was just going to read one page. What? You can read the rest yourself. I'll just tell you really quickly what it's about. It's about a surrogate. Anyway. No. So all of you know me. I'm a lawyer, and when I was in law school, the Baby M case was happening, and it was all over the national news. This was in the 80s, and people weren't really doing surrogacy, and they weren't doing a lot of technology with fertility treatments. And so it was really big news that this woman, Mary Beth Whitehead, was a surrogate, and then she changed her mind, and she didn't want to turn over the baby. And this had to be litigated in the courts. So for a law student to have a case like that, national case, and back then we didn't have social media, the only way to have news was through newspapers and television, and so they wheeled a television out into the hallway of the school, and that's how we watched the Challenger, and that's how we watched the Baby M case. It was just playing as we were in school. And I was taking a family law course, so of course it was incredible to learn about custody disputes and how the courts handle these tricky, difficult things with a stupid thing called a law, and dumb people like judges. No offense to any of my judge friends. No, it's not that we're dumb. No, Jack, questions are later.
How they rule on the case? I don't know.
Can you believe that? So it was the law took the baby, ripped it out of Mary Beth Whitehead's hands, put it into the intended parent's hands. It was her egg, it was the intended father's sperm, and his wife was not able to carry children. And it was a heartbreaking situation all the way around. They all sued, they went different ways, then it appealed, and ultimately the baby stayed with the intended parents. So that was in New Jersey. That was the first custody dispute involving surrogacy, and it was in the 80s. It was important, it was fundamental, it was kind of foundational for me at a point in my life. And then life went on and everything else happened. In the very first writing class, that's partly where this book is coming from. Just that always stayed in me. What would that be like? And then in this writing class with Bridget, the very first day, our teacher said, reach in this paper bag and pull out a postcard. I brought some of my old postcards from my life. And just pull one out and just start writing for 3 minutes. And so I reached in the bag and I pulled out a postcard, and it was a picture of a snowy cabin, with little, cozy, snowy cabin with trees and everything, and it said, Wisconsin. And I just started writing, and it was this argument between this young people, and they had a baby in there with the cabin. And then I just couldn't stop writing, and I just said, why do they have a baby in there? Whose baby is it? And then that's what this book is. And so that exploration and wondering what happened is this book. So I hope you enjoy it when you pay for it and read it. And I'm gonna just read this one page. It's very short, and then we'll do some questions, and then we'll sign the books, and then we'll all go over to Stella's Fish Cafe, and we will partay, open bar,
Oh, DWI.
cake and everything.
Yeah.
Walleye fingers. I just want you to know what you have heading your way. And Swedish meatballs, of course. A little bit for Minneapolis, a little bit for St. Paul. Okay, so the book is told in 4 points of view. Callie, who's the surrogate, Digger, who's her ex-boyfriend, and then the intended parents, Hal and Ruth. I'm going to read from Callie's voice now. And when I mention Digger, that's her ex-boyfriend. In this scene, she's had a medical incident, so she's in the hospital. Okay. Hi. Should I repeat everything for this guy who just walked in? No, Annie's telling me no. The nurse came in and covered me with a clean sheet and 2 heavy blankets, warmed and toasty, like they'd just come out of the dryer. She pulled them up to my neck. Heaven. I closed my eyes, and despite the fluorescent lights, felt the earth pulling me down. I felt I could sleep here for a long time. Once I fell asleep in the back of Digger's pickup. During the summer after I graduated from high school, and Digger had almost finished, we went for a drive. He had a different truck back then, his first of several. He'd fix each one up and sell it for a better one, like what he wanted to do with flipping houses. That first truck was a Ford in turquoise blue. It had rust on the wheel wells and a mismatched, dirty white tailgate. He worked on it every chance he got, every day after school. He replaced parts by scouring the junkyard for what he needed, a rearview mirror, a latch for the glove box, a heat fan mechanism, even a new seat cushion. He took that thing apart and put it back together. It was his. And one warm day, he took me on a drive to a wide open field. We didn't have a plan, just followed roads he hadn't been on before, turning here and there, following dandelions. Finally, he drove off the pavement onto a gravel road and then into the field, where he parked amid the wilderness. When he switched off the ignition, he turned to me and smiled. We took our lunches to the flatbed where he had a mattress and a few boxes on their way to somewhere. We leaned against the boxes and stretched out our legs while we ate our sandwiches. I remember the sound of our paper bags crunching, bird calls we tried to identify, and green flies buzzing by, but no people, just us, under the hot sun. And after we were full and roasted, we made love in the sweltering heat. Then we slid down onto the warm mattress and slept, as if the sun and the sex had hypnotized us. It was delicious. When we eventually woke, our bodies were stiff, and I forgot where I was. The flatbed looked foreign to me, like I'd been kidnapped or drugged. We laughed when we remembered we were safe. My skin was dry and tight, probably burned, but I loved it. We kissed and finally woke ourselves up, woke up enough to go home. That was the same kind of heavy pull I felt in the hospital bed. That feeling of not knowing where I was exactly, but that I could, without doing anything at all, go somewhere deep and far away. All right, thanks. What would you like to ask me?
You answered it.
Okay, good.
Yeah.
Wow, that was really fun, you guys. That was so fun. Yes. Yes.
I love that page. But also, I wanted to ask you, how has it been marketing this book? What have been the highlights and the downtimes? I mean, what is it? Is it a horrible challenge marketing?
What has it been like marketing this book? What have been the high points and the down points? Has it been a horrible challenge? Well, HarperCollins published this book. I was so lucky to have this amazing agent who sold it to HarperCollins. So I haven't really had to do anything other than what they tell me to do. And so I know that I'm lucky that way. Because there are so many books competing for our eyes and for our attention, and so many other things competing for our attention. So really, we have conversations, we talk about, I mean, they have all this magic behind the scenes things. They don't really tell me what they're doing. It's different than I would have thought. I'm really not involved in that, but I'm supposed to like posts and comment on them and forward them. So that's not too hard, but that's about all I do. Yes?
Where did you find, what kind of the setting looked like when you were kind of in your, you were just in your mode of writing? Like, what did the setting look like when you really found yourself?
The setting in the book or the setting, my literal where I was?
Literally where you were when you felt like you were really just couldn't stop writing.
At first it was on my front porch, and it was longhand in this spiral notebook. And then worked to many different places, comfy chairs, cool desk, boat, back to the porch, uncomfortable chair, lots of different places. The main thing was that I had to be alone and there had to be no sounds. So Larry had to go away, and then, yeah, yes?
How did you know, so over 12 years, so obviously you put it down and you picked it up.
Yeah.
How did you know it was time to pick
question. So you put it down and picked it up over 12 years. How did you know it was time to pick it up? Okay. Just that old desire I want to find out what happens. I want to be with these people and figure out their problems with them. They would bother me and annoy me, and then I just thought, okay, I'll listen to them right now. So, Steve, you can really, yeah, Jane.
I think it's interesting, so you were writing in longhand, and did you like outline or know what was going, or did you just sort of write in longhand, and when did you sort of switch from longhand to putting something more in the computer?
Okay, when did you switch from longhand to computer, and did you know where you were going? I did not know where I was going anytime. I did not plan anything. That was a very stressful way to write it. I don't recommend it, but I couldn't do it any other way. I had general ideas like, oh no, I think XYZ is going to happen, and then I would just write to find out if that happened. And I could see my writer friends nodding, like, you guys understand what that's like. And then I quickly moved to the computer. I didn't spend too much time in longhand, although I went back to longhand when I would be stuck. And I would just ask myself a question and then write it out in longhand. So, and I see my writer friends nodding at that too. Yes, Terry.
Has writing this book changed you?
Oh my God, I thought this was going to be like easy. Has writing this book changed me? Yeah. That's my answer. Let's go have champagne, I'll tell you more. Okay.
You finished your second book. Did you do things the same way, or did you do things differently?
So, yes, Jack, thank you. There was a second book. So when they bought this book, HarperCollins asked me to write a second book, not related, and it was due way too early. So I didn't know what it was going to be, and so it was a horrible process to have to write a second book in 1 year, and then not have my Friday morning group with me, and not have my other writing people with me. So I turned in the first manuscript a couple weeks ago. We'll see. I'm sure there'll be a lot of heavy revisions over the winter,
Okay.
and then it's really, really due to HarperCollins in June. So
Interesting.
yeah, but that one also I didn't plan. It just Hi.
So, Toni, you see these movies and everything with all these beautiful writers just like you. And they're typing and writing, and then they get to the end and they
Yeah.
stop writing or throw the pencil down because they just clearly know they're done. So, did you have an ending in mind and then you filled in, or did you just you knew when to close the book? I don't know. That's kind of my question. Did you know, or?
Okay, I knew what happened at the end. I didn't know how I was going to get there. And then when I handed it to my developmental editor, she said, okay, but we have to have a little more around that, because it was a little abrupt. So I had to take that and spread it out and basically rip apart the whole second half and redo it so that the ending was the ending. But yeah, I had an idea of what was going to happen. Hey, oh, Katie, yeah.
I want to know what influenced your name, the picking of the names of the characters.
Oh, what a fun question. What influenced the picking of the names of the characters? They were different when it started. It's just like, what's my idea of an old person name? And and what's a name I always wished I could have named my kid or my cat. I actually had a cat named Callie, so I guess that's not too mysterious. It's a fun time, you don't get to name that many things, so it was fun to be able to name them, just what sounded right, and then it didn't sound right, so I changed it.
Was it Hal original though?
Hal is original, yeah. Rachel?
What occurs to you when you think about when your writer self emerged? When did she first peek out her head?
Wait a minute, are you a psychologist? You are? Oh. I mean, I think we're all writers in so many ways. You know, we're making up stories. I think as a lawyer, we tell stories. You know that. So I've always been drawn to stories. I think as humans are around the fireplace, and so it's just another way to figure out, well, why is it like that, or what does that feel like, or what would happen, and why am I having this question, and so that is, I think, just a human thing, and it's just really fun to be able to do it by writing stories. So I see a lot of my writer friends nodding their heads. So. Yes, Stephen, one of my writer friends.
Yeah, well, hopefully you can hear me through this thing. The question I have is just kind of like a nuts and bolts question.
Okay.
Like, what's the word count? And did you feel like you were aiming for this number, or did you just start writing, or did you start to write and have to reach for it, or did you go to write and have to go back?
Okay, the word count is probably around 89,000, which is longer than the second one's going to be. They said the second one's going to be 85,000. So there's like 250 words on a page. And so I see some of you are doing math right now, but I'm sure you can relate. I wrote way more words than that and had to cut it down and throw them away and redo them. And I divide I shoot for 85,000. I divide it into 16 chunks, and then 4 chunks, 8 chunks, 4 chunks. And then that's where I try to put them all, the words into those chunks. And that just makes sense for me. I don't know why. Yeah. Yeah.
So over the 12-year process that you were writing, what are the notable moments of joy you had that really jump out from start to?
Are you a community organizer? Okay. Notable moments of joy. I mean, it's joyful to share writing with friends. I mean, to be writing with other people and to share work with each other and talk about each other's work. And I got to do that with a lot of the people here. It's joyful to finish. Think maybe I finished. It's joyful to have an aha, oh no, this is going to happen. Oh, now I realize something, or to see somebody, a character, and of course it's joyful to, get an agent or get the deal. But it's joyful to share it with my family. And here I wanted to show you this. This old version, taped together. I sewed these pages with thread and needle, and then taped it together. We brought it on family vacation, and we all passed it around and took turns reading it. That was joyful. Katie?
How was this like birthing a child?
Are you a florist? Okay. Well,
Who's our early childhood educator?
yeah. It's a lot like birthing a child. It hurts. Takes longer than you think it should. You feel connected to it, but sometimes you want it to go away. And you share it with other, and it makes a family. Oh, I'm gonna go sign.
I'm gonna go sign books.
Okay.
Cool. It's walkable?
Yeah, you can, where did you park? I mean, you could also, with your car, you could come pick them up and then park in the mosaic lot because you get a, I think they pay for parking. In the mosaic lot.
Olivia both said
So what streets start on?
It's just on Lake.
Who's actually,
I'm gonna see what she needs, what she needs me to do.
it's interesting because we did Surrogate. Well, we used someone else's. Well, Surrogate carries the board. But I mean, it's similar. It's just similar. And the Surrogate thing, that was just on the TV. I was watching it. I think that's the case.